welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Laura and I have this little corner of BookTube. And for those of you who are returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back. Today we have a January reading wrap up. I was able to read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books during January, which is fairly good. My reading goal for the year is 75. So according to Goodreads, I am 3, well, at this point now, I'm 3 ahead of schedule in the second week of February, which is pretty good. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I read 2 of these books on my Kindle as Kindle Unlimited books, and then the rest I had the physical copies for. So that's super exciting. So we're going to go through in order of what I read this month. So first on the list, we have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This was also the only 5-star read of the month. I read Divine Rivals last year and fell in love with Iris and Roman, and their story is so cute. The whole typewriter's letters, I'm not going to get into it, but for someone, if you're someone who loves romance but you're trying to get into fantasy, this would be one of the best books to read this series. Start with Divine Rivals and then read Ruthless Vows. Now, there were a couple things that maybe, like, some people are saying could be done differently, but I personally really thought it ended really, really well. I just love this book. So this was a 5-star read for me this month, which was a great way to start off the month. Unfortunately, I didn't have any more 5-star reads, but I also didn't have any terrible reads. The next book I read this month, I read so quickly. I probably read it in the span of less than 24 hours. And that was Check and Mate by Allie Hazelwood. This is a young adult romance. It's Allie Hazelwood's debut into young adult romance. And if you want to see a more detailed opinion, it's on my reading vlog from the week I read this. I go into a little bit more detail about it. But I thought it was good. I gave it a 3 stars on Goodreads, but it was really more like a 3.5 because I just love her writing style. She is by far one of my all-time favorite romance authors, or authors in general. And I love her unique kind of ideas. I love the chess feel, and I love Nolan as a character, as a guy character. Super, super cute. However, I had a couple issues with it, but nothing major. I would still recommend this to anyone who wanted just a cute little YA romance, okay? The next book I read, I actually did not finish. I did have 1 DNF this month, and this is Never by Jessa Hastings, which I know, super popular author. I have not read the Magnolia Park series, and I kind of thought reading Never would be a good way to kind of get a feel for her writing without having to commit to a whole series. I got about 10 chapters in and just was not loving it. And I was like, you know what? It's not worth it to me. I'm going to DNF it. I may come back around to reading it at another point in time. But at this moment, I did not love it. So it's not in my total for the month as 8 because I obviously did not finish it. But I did want to mention that I did attempt to read it. And it was just, I had to DNF it. It's not one of my favorite. Okay, the next book I read was on my Kindle. And it was Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. I gave this a 3-star. It was cute. It was very, very spicy. It's a very quick fling. Again, I give more detail about it in my last vlog. But if you're into that for a cute, Kindle Unlimited, spicy romance, it was cute. That's about all I have to say. I will say the guy character in that, Rome, chef's kiss. I will say if he had been in a much longer book, like with a little bit more detail, we had some more story building, I mean, he would be an all-time 10-star, like, book boyfriend type deal. But the book was fairly short, and so I didn't get enough of him to really just be like, yeah, he's an all-time favorite. The next book I read / listened to, I listened to my Book of the Month audio copy that I had of it, and then finished the last little bit physically. And that is What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. I have this beautiful Fairy Loot edition, but it is about our main character. I have to remember her name. Inez. And she goes to Egypt to kind of uncover some of her family's mysteries. There's a whole bunch of stuff. It left on such a big cliffhanger. Like, oh my gosh. I gave this, really, it's like a 3.5, 3.75. I think I give it I can't remember what I get. I think I give it a 4-star on Goodreads. Maybe it is a 4-star. I can't remember what I give it on Goodreads. But it left on, I need the next one. I need the next one. And there's no like release date. So I'm going to need Isabel Ibanez to get on that. Miss Ibanez, can I get the next one super, super fast? Because I have to know what happens to these characters. Wit is the guy character. He's British. That's enough. That's enough. The next book I read was One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I gave this a 3-star. It is a YA, kind of like a mystery thriller type situation. It's really not a thriller because there's not that much going on. But the preface is there were these kids in detention. Somebody ends up dying, and it's like one of us is lying. Who did it? Who killed him? Out of the 4 of them. There's a lot of it. It was good. I really did like it. It kept me very intrigued. I will say I guessed the plot point at least 2/3 of the way through the book. But I will say I did, in the haul video I have coming up, I'll show you, but I did purchase the second book in this series. There are 3 books in this series. And because I do kind of want to see where they're going to, can this author fool me? Is the trick. So we'll see. But it was cute. I did like it. It was a good little, it wasn't bad. I recommend it too if you want a YA mystery. The next book I read was Four Weddings and a Puppy by Lizzie Shane. 3 stars. Which I will say, for a romance, 3 stars is typically my average. If it's 5 stars, it blew me away for a romance. But typically I give romances anywhere from 3 to 4 stars. So this was really more like probably a 3.25, 3.5, somewhere in there. But super, super cute. There is no spiciness. It's just fluffy, classic rom-com, and it has a puppy in it. The next book I read was Nightbane by Alex Astor. This is the second book in a series, the Light Lark saga. And I read the first book in October and November of last year. Really liked it. Again, it kind of left on a very big cliffhanger. And I finally got back in the mood to finish this one. So good. I gave it 4 stars. This is, it's a YA fantasy with some aspects of romance in it. But it does have a lot of complex characters and a lot of different stuff you have to follow. So just keep that in mind. But it's also not as complex as a lot of other fantasies like Lord of the Rings. It's not a high fantasy. It's definitely a fantasy romance, but it's got a lot going on. And I will say I really do love the girl character. She's not super whiny. But she's also, she knows her limits. Like, she's not just, I'm a bad A and I can take care of it and kicks butt the whole time, which I do sometimes love a female character like that. But she has a lot of raw emotions and is very real. And so I think I really like that in a lead female character. So, would recommend this. The last book I read this month, I also read on my Kindle. Oop, it lit up. And that is King of Wrath by Anna Huang. 4 stars. 4 stars. I love Anna Huang. The Twisted series, Twisted Games, and Twisted Lies were my favorite of those series. Chef's Kids, Rise Larson's. Love the Twisted series. Read them last year. Or maybe in the year before, into last year. But I will say I haven't really been in the mood for like super spicy stuff, so I hadn't picked it up, any of Anna Huang's other books up. So I picked up King of Wrath and loved it. I mean, it is, Anna Huang is there's a lot of books that I read where the spice is too much and I feel like just weird reading it. Hers, the chemistry, everything, it always just flows super, super well. And you feel like you get to know the characters. Like you're not just reading spice to read spice. You're reading character development, which is important in a book, I think. And so, but I gave it 4 stars. I loved it. I've already started, spoiler, King of Pride. I'm a couple of chapters in. I started it today at work. And I'm super, super excited about that. So that is my January reading wrap up. Overall, I think January was a really, really good reading month for me. A very solid number of books, which is kind of my norm. That's about how fast I read. I read typically about 2 books a week. Sometimes more, sometimes less. It depends. I will say I didn't read any super chunky books this month. They were all probably less than 450 pages. And so that was kind of, maybe I read a little bit more than I would if I was reading like a Sarah J. Maas book or anything like that. But yeah, so it was a good month. I'm so excited for February. I have a lot of fun stuff. For anyone that's wondering, right now I do not do TBR videos because I am a mood reader, and I mean my moods can change like that. And so right now I don't like having a set TBR. I prefer to just kind of read whatever my little heart desires. My whole library, I've got a lot on my physical TBR, a lot on Kindle Unlimited that I could read. So I just pick something I want to read. There are definitely some books that I'm thinking about for February, and obviously we're in February. I've already finished some books and stuff, but maybe in the future when I get a little bit more comfortable in the YouTube, we'll start talking TBR and TBR videos. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to this point, drop a comment below. Tell me what your favorite January read was. Like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell so that you can get updated with any new content. I'm going to try to be more regular. It's kind of hard because I do work full-time as a nurse. And so I have to make these videos after I get off of work or on my weekends. And sometimes, you know, you want to spend time with your family, and I want to spend time with my husband and things like that. And so, but I will try to do better in putting out content for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys back next time. Bye.